Good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful Sunday, and a little bit slower start for us out here today. So yesterday we went ahead, I got in here on the asparagus, looking out here to see if any asparagus is coming up. A friend of mine said he had some coming up. I didn't see any of mine personally. But anyway, don't see any just yet, but it's that time. We need to do that. And we'll come on over here and mosey over to the beehives. Take a look and see how these guys are doing. Make sure I see bees, that they haven't swarmed. That's always important. Make sure they don't swarm on us. Yeah, there's bees right there. They're coming and going. And this hive here, it's got a bee out there too, coming and going. Yep, there they go. It's a windy day, but the bees are there. So today is a very busy day. It's our intention to get out here, lay plastic, get ready to plant onions, do a little tillage there with the Odina drive, so this way we can plant our potatoes. Being there with Kevin Safari, I have one more day with him, and we'll get the potato plant. However, that was the plan. Unfortunately for us, we got a pop-up thunderstorm last night, and that's not a bad thing. And Sundays I do try to make it a day of rest, but that's not a bad thing. But what a surprise it was to hear our first thunder and have our first lightning of the year. So I'm out here in the small asparagus patch, and again, I don't see anything popping up in the rows here, but anyway, so now it looks like I'll be doing a little bit of work in the big high tunnel. And Delia came out a little earlier and lowered the high tunnels curtains, the small high tunnels curtains where the plants are. We're gonna have to move them plants in tonight, but we're getting ready to go feed the calves. But before I do, I think we ought to go out, take the soil thermometer. And it's after St. Patty's Day, you know. If you go by the calendar, you're supposed to plant. You're supposed to plant when you have, you know, St. Patty's Day or by. But I like to go by a soil thermometer, and to me, it's been just a hair cool. We need to have a 45-degree temperature. I like taking a temp early in the morning. I'm running a little bit late, but I like taking a temp early in the morning because it won't be influenced by the sun or anything like that. So let's go get my bucket filled up for the calves, and then we'll also get the soil thermometer. Let's put it out there where we're going to go ahead and plant our potatoes. While we're out feeding the calves, it can be adjusting. By the time I get back, I can have an accurate reading of the soil, and we'll see how warm it is. It's not real muddy out here, so we didn't get that much rain. I just put it this way, I'm not sinking in and I'm not leaving any tracks, so that's good news. The wind is blowing, so it ought to dry things out, but let's go ahead and stick this soil thermometer in the ground. Let's get it in about 4 to 5 inches. I think that's the right thing. So basically, I just got to set this thermometer about halfway down, and we'll take a reading on it in a little when we come back from feeding the calves. But anyway, right now it's saying it's 45 degrees. That's the ambient temperature. But let's stick it in the ground and come back to it. So let's do that. We'll stick that right on in. There we go. That gets us down. That gets us down about 4 to 4.5 inches. Right away, it looks like it's wanting to drop a little bit. It's already at about 42 degrees right now. So yeah, it's dropping. Of course, the cool rain going in would certainly affect that. But we'll come back. I'm going to set that down right beside it. But yeah, it's already, we need 45 for our plants to come up. So very important we get that done. All right, let's go and get some calves fed. Oh, Cookie's right there. Yeah. Yeah, they come. Well, look at them.
Yep, hello.
No. I know what you guys want. Look at them old blind eyelashes.
Yeah. Hello, Oreo.
Yeah, you guys are feeling pretty good after your bath last night. You're feeling pretty good with your bath. They're like, you're in our space now. Cookie has to see where I am. Yeah, I'll go get some hay up here. There's a bunch of hay here. Yeah, I know it. Yep, I know it. They're like, you got something. Yep, Mama's got the good stuff, girls. On that end it is. Oh, she's being tough on you. She's playing hardball.
Come on.
She's playing hardball, girls. Whoop.
This bucket is brittle and just broke off my hand.
Yeah, it's an older bucket. That's for toying with them. That's what it is. It's, as you say, it's karma.
Karma got me.
For toying with them. You almost, I know you could almost taste it.
Again, she just nipped my fingers.
Yeah? You know what? You're gaining.
It knocks up my fingers. Almost not.
Look how close they're getting to you now. Of course, they want that feed. She's going to nudge the other one over.
Put her on the other end, so.
Yeah, very good.
She did come again to my fingertips, and that's as far as I get her to come.
Yeah. Well, they're doing good. Nope. Nice looking heifers, and all of them are gaining. Filling out them hooks and pins. Yep. You nervous? Oh, don't be nervous. We're old friends by now. They do enjoy that treat every day, don't they? It's part of it. Well, we're back from feeding the calves. Let's go on out there and take a look at our soil thermometer. Let's see what it says. Okay, the soil temperature is 40 and a half degrees, so we can check it again in a couple of days, but technically it's too cool to plant a potato right now because it's just going to sit there in the ground. So not a bad thing that I'm not quite ready to plant the potatoes. So we're going to get away with it this year so far. So it's a little too cool to plant our potatoes. 40 and a half degrees. What does that mean? It means the potatoes are just going to sit there. We're going to get back and take a look at it again in another couple of days. But let this $25 item that you can pick up from Amazon or anywhere else, the soil thermometer is one of the best tools that you can use to ensure that your seeds pop right out of the ground. Real quick, let's take a minute and look at what we got going on out here with our planting. This here's where Delia and I stopped planting garlic last year, and as you guys maybe or may not remember, we had kind of a disaster a year ago on getting plants. You know, we couldn't find them, and it was just a disaster. But so Delia and I do have our woven fabric down. I can tell you that it's a definite different feeling. I'm going to remove one of these bags, the sandbags. It's a different feeling when you get down here, how much warmer the ground gets. Let's take a look at our plants. Now this is our broccoli. And they just went through a big rain, went through wind, but look how they're all standing upright. You notice that they're not really moving? They're not really moving down here. Actually, and for the record, it feels much warmer. Let me tell you, I really like what we got going here. Of course, I got this open, so it's moving. You look down there with the wind, you notice how it's not moving? Let me put this back. What we're doing, there's a sod staple right there. So you got a sod staple, you got a sod staple. I think the big thing we're learning is, in addition to the sod staple, you want to make sure you put a sandbag, because a lot of the complaints I hear is to go in there. I'm going to put my foot right here. Let's set that down. What I hear is with these, if you use this outdoor fabric out here, the wind will still cause it to bounce up, and you know, you get rain and enough wind, and next thing you know it, you're losing your woven fabric out in your garden. Well, to solve that, wherever you put a sod staple, you want to put yourself a sandbag. Now, something Delia and I realized is that we got too crazy filling the sandbag. So anymore, let me put it this way: instead of filling up a sandbag to where the bag's full, we're not keeping the Mississippi out. So we got to remember that we're not keeping the Mississippi out. If you're a lineman for your prospective football team, or the NFL or something like that, filling up a sandbag to you is going to be nothing. But for most of us, and especially me in my 60s, I can't go in there and I can lift it, but I can't lift that many. You'll get tired. So I'm reluctant now to about do a half full sandbag. Everything's about 20 pounds of sand, and then the key for me is to do mini sandbags. So basically do 20-pound sandbags, do a lot of them, and you can, you know, carry them down or whatever the case is. But you do what you can handle. You just have to buy more sandbags. So you just got to do more of them, if that makes sense. But that's what we're seeing, is that seems to be the real secret behind it, is to have, you know, mini sandbags in lieu of just putting a heck of a lot of, you know, 60-pound sandbags out there. But anyway, so far, if you look at this over here from a year ago, do you see the amount of grass growing between the rows? Now, you know, this is, of course, into season stuff and things weren't looking as good. But if you go back in our videos, we had them clean. We got them, they were looking beautiful. And then when the weeds popped up, you know what we did? We weeded them. We did great. I ran tillers, I hand pulled, I did a little bit of spraying, I did a little everything. And they were originally controlled with some herbicide in between the rows. I didn't spray any herbicide where I'm planting, but in between the rows, I actually put a little herbicide early on. Well, that gave me about 30 days protection for 3 weeks, and then the weeds started coming on. There's nothing to canopy over them. So then we got down to where, well, now I got plants in the rows. It's hard to spray a herbicide, so that's out, number one. Regardless of your opinions on herbicide, but that's out now. Then I turned right around, we started just hand pulling, and we kept up with that. Last but not least, here I am. I'm out there running the weed machine, and then everything came in. By then we've lost the war, because Delia's going to, we are now spending 5 to 6 days a week selling products on the side of the road, or at the farmer's market, at the Auburn liquor store, all that. And we couldn't keep up with it. And it just got to become too much. The plants suffered because it became, this creates an atmosphere for insects. You can even look in here right now and see how the weeds are already reappearing. That's weed seed from a year ago. That's what it is. No matter how much I tried, there is a heck of a seed bank here. But the one fact that I know is weeds aren't growing through that. Or very few will, let me put it that way. Very few will. So now, and rainwater can go down through woven fabric. It's designed to breathe a little bit. Kind of a one-way entry. So I think we got something. Now we go a few more years showing this, you know, where the top 2 inches of the soil is going to be kind of sterilized right there. You know, eventually using the black fabric, it'll turn right around, it'll create enough heat in the summer, it's going to turn right around, it's going to sterilize them seeds in the top couple of inches. So this is going to change, and we will be able to pull this fabric up, and you know, and then the next year we'll repeat the process again. But the little bit of weeds that do come up, if we look right here, you know, if this is as much of a weeding that we have to do, is that I can deal with that. If that's as much of a weed that I have to deal with once a week type of a deal, I can live with that. We can weed that. So anyway, this is our solution to get the crops out early, to deal with the wind, to deal with the deer, because Delia last year had this much planted right over here. She had all of this planted a year ago, and the deer came in one night and they ate took the tops off of every one of her young seedlings. What a disheartening deal. So now we have a strategy for the deer. But these are things that we're having to learn that we didn't know about. But row covers, I think are going to make a difference. Delia and I have already committed that we do need more sandbags. We got to go get more sand. Hopefully we were going to go out there to the strawberries and remove some row cover off of there. That'll get us sand enough to finish our 5th row. You buy 500 foot of the row fabric in a roll. It's cheaper. Then you can just take scissors and, you know, we cut 100-foot strips, and then that gave us our 5 rows, and then we turn right around. Same way with this fabric comes in 300 feet. So we cut 300-foot sections off, or 100-foot sections off of that as well. So anyway, that's our economics of how we're running this. But I like it. I you know, if you guys do something like this, share it on this. Leave it in the comments. Do you do something like this, or do you have a better suggestion for us to use and others to look at? We're open-minded. Remember, I had an idea how I was going to run this place, and then I evolved and I'm changing, and then I came up here and I said, well, I'm going to put plastic down the roads. That's going to fix my problem. Well, again, it comes down to I don't have a dedicated crew or the machinery to go down every one of these rows, you know, once a week to till them. So bottom line is you got to adjust, you got to adapt. So anyway, folks, if you like these types of videos, do us a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Come grow with us.